Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel and welcome to a brand new episode of the Definitive Discussion Rebooted. It's my talk show podcast I have here on the channel where I bring phenomenal individuals from all over the internet, the gaming industry, the gaming community, all over the place. And they come here onto the show to talk about a whole bunch of cool stuff with me. We just deep dive into stuff. That's what we do best over here. Let me know if you've been enjoying all the episodes I've been posting up on the channel, as well as all the other content I've been putting up on YouTube as of late. I've been trying to be very consistent every single week. And also, don't forget, guys, I have the Patreon page. If you support the Patreon at the dollar level or higher, you get a ton of exclusive content, including my bonus EX mode, which is like a supplement to this show, which is a whole entire bonus section for everybody exclusively on Patreon. Go check it out. There's links in the description box down below. But today, I have my boy Eddie from Flynns Arcade Gaming and More down here in Florida that decided to come onto the show and talk with me, because we talked a couple times, full disclosure, but I haven't had him on the show as of yet. So Eddie, what's good? He's, again, for anybody that doesn't know, he's the founder of Flynns Arcade Gaming and More. How you been?
Been very well, man. You can't complain. I mean, with all the craziness that's going on in the world, we just have to hunker down, if you will.
Exactly, yeah, and we're going to get into all that stuff in just a little bit. But again, like I mentioned before, you're the founder of Flynns Arcade Gaming and More. I was at your guys' grand opening. There's a vlog that I have now on the channel that if you guys didn't see as of yet, you guys could go see it. You could see all the different arcade games and the other stuff that you guys had there on display, which you still do. And I think you guys change it every once in a while, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We've, since the grand opening, we've definitely added to our collection, as well as modified the layout of the arcade games, as well as our offerings. We have definitely grown over the last 3 months.
Yeah, you guys got a lot of, retro games there, which is great. A lot of vintage arcade cabinets, or at least, arcade cabinets that are running like multiple programs and stuff. And I think that's pretty cool. A lot of fighting games. Me being a fighting game guy, I know there's a big fighting game community down here in South Florida that really appreciates that. I know I've also seen you guys do a bunch of tournaments and stuff of various different games. Like, tell me how that's been over the course of, again, you guys have been open close to a little over a year now, right? Or a little bit longer. Give or take.
Well, the thing is, we've been incorporated since February of last year, and then we started the construction back in June of last year in 2019, and then we opened our doors officially December 7th of 2019. So we're a little over 3 months old. Okay. 3 months with our doors open, and then with the tournaments, we have been really listening to the community the best we can to offer a minimum of 3 tournaments a week. We usually run them on a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday.
And you guys got prizes too, right? Because I know you guys usually sometimes do giveaways, you do cash prizes, different stuff like that. Oh
yeah, 100%. With our tournaments, we do run a pool system, so we do have an entry fee, and then there's a pool into it as well. And then with the tournaments, on Friday and Saturdays, we run them at 7, and then on Sundays, we run them at 5. But also, we've been getting a lot of insight, like trying to offer different games, and we're willing to try any game at least once or twice and see what the draw is. But obviously, you and I both know there's some heavy hitters in our community that attract.
I mean, I've seen you guys have hosted a Tekken tournament, which I saw. And I have a friend of mine that's big into Tekken 7 that he goes to a lot of the competitions down here. And I saw him show up. I think he placed, if he not won that competition when you guys hosted it. I've also seen some Street Fighter. I've seen some Dragon Ball Fighters, Smash Brothers. You guys got the projector screens for Smash Brothers, which I thought was pretty dope. I mean, when stuff is happening there, I mean, are you guys getting large crowds? Is you feel like more of the fighting game community or just the different scenes need to know about you guys out here? How's that been like?
Every day is a new opportunity and growth, a new day to grow. And we've definitely had an amazing outreach in terms of, the amount of people coming out and what their attention is to the particular tournaments we're having, as well as we've had a great outreach specifically for, I would say our heavy hitters are the Smash Ultimate community. Those tournaments can average anywhere from, 17 to upwards of 20 plus people on our Smash tournaments. For Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and Street Fighter, they usually average anywhere from a handful of people to 10, 12 people. I believe it's going to definitely be just a matter of time. It's weird, man. The fighting community, it seems like it's very territorial for Mortal Kombat's big in Miami, but it's not super huge in Broward. Or Tekken is big in Broward and not, so it's like these weird little cliques, if you will. But we're learning the ins and outs to the best of our ability as time progresses. 100%.
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to want to attract everybody from all the big, fighting game communities and just greater gaming communities in general, because obviously some people tend to like, divide a lot of them up, saying that Smash Brothers isn't really a fighting game. It's like a Nintendo game or a party game. But really, it's like you want to get everybody from all over the place coming to your spot and stuff. What do you feel like is something that you want to see more of, whether it's word of mouth or just like, bringing friends over from like other places and stuff that you guys want to see more of from, specifically the community members out here or the people that want to come and check out this stuff in order to help you guys grow up a little bit?
Well, the biggest thing is, like with any small business, a start, any business that's in it, upon its inception, it's just going to be word of mouth. I really feel that we started the game very strong with our social media presence, so that really helped a bit. I mean,
you
at
guys
our
got
grand
the Facebook
opening,
too, which I saw.
Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and YouTube. We're very active on social media platforms, and also word of mouth 100%. And small businesses as a whole really shouldn't ignore, especially when you have a brick and mortar, Google and Yelp, the different, map programs. They help out a lot. Yeah. And those reviews stack up, man. And we noticed quite a few people just searching, general searches and all that good stuff. Anybody with a brick and mortar, definitely get on Google.
Yeah, I could definitely attest to that because I've had friends that do different businesses and stuff here and there in various states, and they say almost the exact same thing, in various different ways to their own stuff. One thing I also do want to ask, though, is like, again, since you guys have been officially opened, hosting tournaments and stuff, have you guys had any other big names besides yours truly, of course, because mine is the greatest in the universe? But like, have you guys had any big names from like the fighting game community or any other like greater gaming community member that like, has like an influence, there's a lot of different social media stars, a lot of different community members from like the FGC and stuff that travel around different places. Have you guys like seen anybody of note as of yet?
No, nobody note as of yet. I mean, we definitely, I don't know if they carry any notoriety because I look at a person just for the sake of who they are necessarily, everyone is equal.
Yeah.
The one thing I've noticed is that in the Smash community, there have been some of our more, let's say, competent fighters. They have definitely come out. I don't know if they carry any sort of notoriety with them, but nobody that I've run into as of yet. But hey, we're still very young, so the future is wide open. And I believe as the word gets out in terms of the type of community and the environment and we just listen. The communication between our patrons and what we can do for them is a very wide open door. So
we got to change that. We got to definitely change that. I said we definitely got to change that because I know for a fact there's a lot of big Smash players, and more towards the southern, all the way up to it's like the mid area of like Florida that travel.
Yeah.
I know going to different places, but even just the FGC in general, because obviously we have the big CEO competition, which is up in northern Florida. But there's some fighting game peeps that I know are like die-hard fighting game peeps that are of name down here within this area that they got to know about you guys a little bit more because this is just another spot for them to come check out or come check, be part of events or even come host events or do something. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
100%.
I feel like that's going to help you guys a lot with word of mouth, especially if like a lot of the influencers and people that have like, outreach within those communities are able to talk about you guys a little bit more. I think they would actually really enjoy it because what's cool about what you guys have too is the location, like just the overall layout of everything. Cause you guys got the parking lot right there. Right. And, once you walk inside, like there's a lot of room, to move around and such with, all the different arcade machines and the different setups that you have, even for the console games. But just like that outside section, I remember when I went to your grand opening, it was just a wide open area right next to this parking lot that there was a bunch of people just hanging out outside. Like to me, I thought that was dope.
Yeah, we have in our plaza, we have about 120 parking spots. It's all free parking. And then also because our business Flynns stays open later, we're open, 5 o'clock to midnight, Monday or Tuesday through Thursday. On Friday and Saturday, we're open until 2 a.m. On Sunday, we're open until midnight as well. Usually the businesses in those plazas close while we're open. So, we have the parking lot to ourselves.
And you guys got food spots like right there. Because if I know anything about the FGC, when people get hungry, they don't want to go far. They don't want to pay a lot for food, which is actually super convenient for you guys, like overall, because there's like a whole bunch of things like right there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, there's the Latin Cafe over there in the corner, walking distance. There's a wing place. There's 3 or 4 pizza places, and at Flynns, we have no problem with people like ordering food for delivery or for Grubhub if they don't want to walk anywhere. And we have an amazing, quite large bar top area that they can easily eat out, or if they want to eat outside, or whatever the case may be.
And if I remember correctly, I think that opening night, you guys were actually, you had people selling drinks and stuff. I think you guys were making like custom like fruit drinks or something, because I know I bought one there. They were like themed to like games or like retro stuff, which I thought was
cool.
It
was boba tea. It was boba tea by Alpaca Boba Tea, but they have actually moved to England for right now. So, but they are Alpaca, and they definitely helped us out quite a bit to kind of get the ball started in getting the boba tea. And Will, my partner, him and I, we have talked about introducing boba tea again. But once again, you got to make sure everything's in line with health codes and restrictions and permits and licensing and all that stuff. You know how it is.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of that, I want to know a little bit about, again, just the overall experience, like away from like all the numbers and like the specific stuff. I want to know about, the general feeling of like, hosting or just like owning an arcade now, because obviously arcades were much more bigger back in the day, the 90s, the late 80s and stuff, for various different reasons. Now, especially in the current environment we live in, both socially, politically, economically and such, it's a very different landscape for us. I mean, has it been challenging for better or worse for you guys, being able to like make sure that things are stable, things are fun and interesting and attracting more people? I mean, what is that experience like for you personally?
Well, I would say that anybody who's thinking about opening any sort of game center, now it could be anything from an arcade to a PC lounge to a LAN center. My experience has been you can't have a one-trick pony, meaning you have to have multiple attractions, if you will. So that's why we have the upright cabinets from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. That's why we have the consoles from the old school SNES all the way up to the PS4s. And then those are the two main components. And then you also have to have the events, which, we're hosting at least one really interesting event a month. And then, we do other things like build nights, and we do D&D nights on Mondays. And then we do, we have the snacks and the drinks. And then also we host birthday parties and corporate events and all that kind of good stuff. So my one thing is definitely it can't be a one-trick pony. And then also, you have to create a very clean, welcoming environment.
Yeah.
I have heard, I'm not going to drop names, but I have heard of other like businesses, and they're like, oh, yeah, I go there, but it's just not clean. Or, oh, yeah, the people are rude.
That's always a problem with anything, like, straight up. Like, people want to feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah, you got to feel comfortable. You got to feel safe. You got to feel like you're part of the family and part of the community. If you can create that, dude, you are onto something.
So let me ask you this, because, I mean, we'd be remiss not to mention, like, what's going on now with current events, because obviously we're in the middle of a lockdown. At the time we're recording this, so everybody is probably listening to this later on YouTube, the coronavirus and a lot of the other stuff that's, been happening with different states here in the United States anyway. People have been, the states have been locking stuff down. They've been telling businesses to shut down and stuff. I mean, I know I saw a post from you on Instagram talking about this stuff, telling everybody, hey, this is how you could show support and such. But what has that been like for you? Because for me, a lot of places that I would normally go to, they're shut down. Obviously, it's a little harder to get work and stuff. But as a business owner, someone that's like has a place at a space, that you're trying to manage and keep open, to keep things stable. I mean, has that really impacted you in a really harsh way?
Well, as we were recording this, it's only been day one, and we have done our absolute best to prepare, and as any business owner should.
Yeah.
But since we are so new, so fresh, it's all about time and longevity and riding the wave. So yeah, of course it's impacted us. We need to be open every single day that we're supposed to be open in order to get the revenue that we need to keep, this going, moving forward, and to provide something amazing to our Flynns fans and to the community. But we are hopeful and prayerful and thankful that, our Flynns fans have definitely been donating. I posted about, if you are able to help by, providing a donation of any sort, right now, just for our PayPal account, and that'll definitely keep us, going for the foreseeable future. Where we we're doing our absolute best to be as positive and supportive as possible.
I've
I know
always
this.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. This is it's going to pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna like change the world. I hope not, but it's gonna be over before we know it.
I was curious because, like, again, as a business owner and stuff, I don't understand a lot of, like, maybe like the legalities or some of the other things you have to think about when you have a business and like you start talking about stuff like, PayPal donations. You start talking about like Kickstarters, GoFundMe's and stuff. Does that add like a whole nother level of logistics that you got to be worried about when you're doing stuff like this? Now, granted, what's happening now, nobody could have foreseen. Again, this is a big deal for a lot of people around the world. So everybody's being affected. But I mean, like, again, for you, granted, it hasn't been that long. Was there ever like a worry about like, okay, is this like, morally or ethically right to start doing stuff like this? Or do we have to do things like this in order to make sure that things are going right? I mean, what's going through your head when things are happening?
Well, the way I look at it is like, yes, you have to make sure that you are morally and ethically, in the up and up. That's why for instance, with us, that's why we chose to ask for help through our PayPal account, through our corporate PayPal account, so that the money is tied directly to our corporate bank account. I think that's the number one thing. When people are starting to take money through their personal accounts,
that's when it starts to get shady or a little bit suspicious.
Really shady. That's why you have to be careful. Like, for instance, with Facebook donations, they will allow, from the research that we did, they will allow you to accept donations through a nonprofit business page. If you don't do it that way, you have to do it through your personal. And that's why we kind of hesitated to do that, because we don't like to do anything that's not above board. And also, the thing is, we're like, I'm all about honesty and truthfulness. Like, we do need the help. And so it's like, we're not asking anybody, like pressuring anybody to do anything. But if you don't ask, people don't know.
True.
So we are asking, we asked as nicely as we are able to ask and say, hey, we do need help to kind of keep this pushing forward. And then, of course, the biggest thing on your note, you're talking about other businesses. Other businesses should take into consideration contacting all their lenders, contacting all their creditors, contacting the FPL, their utility departments.
The important stuff.
Yeah, contacting all of them and asking them for assistance during this time, because this mandate is like basically a government mandate.
You have to abide to it. Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's crazy too, because I saw you and a bunch of other businesses, complying with it. And then I saw the news about GameStop like shortly after. I'm like, that just adds a whole nother level of like, hilarity to most of the stuff involving GameStop. But it was like, okay, like this is actually like a real big deal. So I can only imagine like all the stuff that are out of your control that you got to deal with now, that's going to be a problem even now and much later on afterwards.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I don't foresee it as I foresee it as an opportunity to grow and learn and expand and come back stronger. We have some interesting things in my mind that I want to do that would be within compliance of the mandate, the executive order. And, we're going to keep trucking ahead, man. I mean, we definitely are going to take a hit financially, but we're hopeful that when we do reopen, the moment we're able to, we'll reopen and we'll be stronger than ever.
Damn right. That's the attitude you got to take or whatnot. So to kind of, before we end things off, to end on a much more like lighter note, maybe a more positive note, one thing I noticed that you guys have done, and you guys have been open about this with some of the different events, besides the gaming events, you also have like other like alternative, like, geek culture type of events, including stuff involving cosplay. I saw stuff involving the Gundam, like Gunpla building things, which I thought was unique because we don't see a lot of that, if not anything like that down here in South Florida, unless you're like going to a convention or something. I mean, who came up with that idea, or like why is that important to you guys to do stuff like that?
Well, because like, okay, in the arcade community, in the arcade ownership community, it can be very like a one-sided die, and we didn't want to do that. I had recently gotten into building Gundam, and I had visited. I had been at Loot when they were open, and they do like a paint and build night, or they did a paint night, and I'm like, this is really interesting. It brought a handful of people together, so I instantly knew we wanted to do that, because I also want to open people's eyes to new hobbies, new things that they can do and be a part of. And we had the space, so why not use it? We also do like you had mentioned, we want to start putting together something for the cosplay community in terms of having a cosplay night, either a cosplay work night or a build night or a cosplay gathering. I've been talking to one of our Flynns fans about that. and we're going to set something up for once this nonsense is over. And then also, like, we have tabletop tournaments like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Final Fantasy, as well as, Dungeons and Dragons. We started instituting on Mondays because, once again, we got to be there for we got to have something for everybody to the best of our ability.
Definitely. And again, like I said, I think that's very unique, and I think that's fun because, granted, they still have the arcade games there to play, when people go, but it just adds a whole new, different like flavor of fun for a lot of people, which would be interesting. It'd be kind of cool. So, final thoughts before we wrap up, because again, me and you are going to talk a little bit more on my EX mode section of the podcast. For everybody on Patreon. Remember, guys, down below in the comment section, there's links to my Patreon page. $1 level or higher, you're going to get that whole extra bonus episode of talk that we're going to have here. So, final thoughts. Before we end off, I mean, what is one thing that you guys want to know or want everybody else to know about Flynns Arcade Gaming and more? I mean, what is it one thing you guys want to stand out as for?
We want to stand out as we are, for everybody in terms of you could be 5 years old or 500 years old. So we're not exclusive to like age range, as well as, we are a family friendly, welcoming environment, clean, safe, and secure. And we're a small business that's looking to make a large stamp in the world, if you will. This is one of multiple locations that we plan on opening sooner than later, because we want Flynns to be like those little not tiny, but those little mom and pop kind of arcades in like your local city where, Dave and Buster's or Boomers can't fit. And also we want to remain as affordable as possible, because I don't know about you, the last time I went to some of the big brands, you drop $100, no problem. And I don't know how like a family of 7 would be able to do that, or 5 or 4,
Yeah, definitely a good point. But still, we got to get you guys out there more in the FGC and some of the other communities. That way there could be kind of like a spot. I don't know if you've been to Neutral Grounds in New York when it was still around, stuff like that. But that was like the spot for people in that area to go play like fighting games, competition, or just, to get out and just game overall, like in the arcade scene. We got to get you guys like 100%. That down here for South Florida. That'd be kind of fun.
100%. Any help that can be provided or any suggestion, we're more than willing to take. Right now, it's pretty much Will and I doing everything and anything from cleaning to construction to accounting to advertising. So, yeah, any ideas, any assistance, we greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. So anyway, Eddie, thank you so much for chatting up with me. We're going to talk more on EX mode about some other stuff more related to gaming and such. But guys, as you're listening to this, let me know what you think about it down below in the comments section. Tell me, do you guys like these talks? Do you guys want to see other guests? Do you got any suggestions of topics you want to see us tackle or whatnot? Put it down below in the comments section. Leave a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm still aiming to hit that 10K this year on my YouTube channel. See if we could go and do even much more bigger, crazy stuff. Maybe even do a crazy thing at Flynns one day. That'd be kind of cool. Just like one day, just randomly, just go do something fun like that. But show some support, show some love. All the links that we had mentioned before and that Eddie was talking about, they'll be in the description box down below as well. So from both of us here, we will talk to all of you again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.